Plot map. Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Lili and LaBrie, English 8-2. Chapter 1. Story of the Door. Mr. Utterson is a wealthy man and well-respected London lawyer who loves to have dinner at his mansion and have little dinner parties. Chapter 1. Story of the Door. At the beginning, Mr. Utterson and Mr. Enfield went on a regular Sunday stroll when they walked down this ordinary street that looked unfamiliar and odd. Enfield tells Utterson that a couple nights ago, when he was walking down the same street, he saw something strange. He saw a short and stubby man that was stomping and trampling on this little girl. Thankfully, Enfield caught him, and then the strange man went into a big door. The strange man gives Enfield a check to keep his mouth shut, but this isn't the same guy's name. He blackmailed someone and got their checks. Chapter 2. Search for Mr. Hyde. Mr. Utterson goes home to study Dr. Jekyll's will. When reading it, he realized that if he dies, all of his money would go to Edward Hyde. Utterson was puzzled by this, and is almost sure that Hyde has some type of power over Jekyll. He knew that something was going on, and he had to get to the bottom of it. Chapter 2. Utterson's seeking to unravel the mystery. He goes to Dr. Langdon's house, hoping for some type of knowledge of this. He didn't. He said that he had never heard of this unknown man. He knew that there was a mystery on our hands. Later that night, Utterson is haunted by nightmares in which he sees a faceless man trampling on the little girl. Chapter 3. Dr. Jekyll was quite at ease. A couple weeks ago, after Jekyll decides to have a dinner party, Utterson plans to stay later, so the two of them could speak privately. Utterson brings up the will and Hyde, and Dr. Jekyll's face gets pale. Jekyll makes a joke about it and tells Utterson the interest in Hyde that Jekyll has. Chapter 4. Approximately a year goes by, and approximately a year later, a maid is looking out a window and witnesses a murder in the street below her. She recognizes him. She says it was Mr. Hyde. Hyde runs into an elderly man whom he greets. Then, out of nowhere, Hyde grabs a stick and starts hitting the man until he dies. This also connects to this one when the girl was looking out the window. After this, the police found a letter to Mr. Utterson on the dead body that invites him to come identify the man. He recognizes him. It was Sir Danvers Carew. Earlier in Chapter 2, Hyde gives Utterson his address, which comes in handy now. They go to the worst part in town and find his house, but he is not at home. They go inside and find the murder weapon. The police did not find him and probably never will. Chapter 5. Incident of the letter. Utterson goes to see Jekyll, who is deathly ill, but tells Utterson that Hyde has left. Jekyll tells Utterson that Hyde has left and that they are no longer friends. He got a letter from Hyde saying that police will never find me. On Utterson's way out, Poole, the butler, asked him to describe the man who delivered the letter. He did not know what he looked like or could identify him. Utterson is going to figure who this Hyde guy is. So he goes to the clerk and compares Hyde's handwriting to Jekyll's to see the resemblance, to see if there's any connection between the two. Chapter 6. Remarkable incident of Dr. Lanyon. Because of the situation, Jekyll has been devoting himself to charity and is helping the community more. Hyde's evil presence has influenced Jekyll to be the best and nicest he could be. Jekyll decides to throw a little dinner party. Utterson and Lanyon both attend. A couple days later, Utterson calls and Poole answers and says Jekyll wants no visitors anymore. Same thing happens for a couple of weeks. Utterson goes to Lanyon's, hoping to find out where Jekyll is, but he doesn't want any visitors. He notices Lanyon is very sick, pale, and has a frightening look on his face. He says that he's expected to die in a couple of weeks. Lanyon died after a few weeks later. Lanyon promised Utterson that he could read a letter/will after he died, so he did. Discovering this, he also finds a letter that says after Jekyll dies. A couple weeks go by, and Utterson calls and checks on Jekyll frequently, but always gets declined by Poole. Chapter 7. Incident by the window. Utterson and Enfield are walking as they usually do at night, passing the door when Enfield once saw Hyde walking to receive Jekyll's check. They pass Jekyll's house and look in his window. They see him at the window, enjoying fresh air. Utterson suggests that Jekyll go on a walk with them. Jekyll declines. He quickly goes, closes the door, and had a frightening look on his face. Chapter 8. The Last Night. Poole visits Utterson's house one night. He says that he believes that there's been some foul, quote-unquote, foul play with Dr. Jekyll. Utterson goes to Jekyll's house to see what's going on. He gets there, and a strange voice answers that and says no visitors. Poole and Utterson still go into the house and go to the kitchen, where Poole hears noises that are not from his master, Jekyll. Utterson says that if there was a murder and he killed Jekyll, why wouldn't he flee? Why would he stay? Poole says that whatever is in the room, he has been sending him to go on constant errands, asking to get pharmacy things, drug stuff, not bad drugs, but stuff, just stuff in general. One day, Poole walked in and saw a small man, definitely not Jekyll. This made him very, very curious and suspicious. Jefferson wants to break into the lab. Then Utterson identifies the voice he hears is Hyde, and orders Poole to smash the door open. They walk in and see Hyde's body on the floor and a crushed vial in his hand. They suppose that he had poisoned himself. He's wearing a suit that was Jekyll's, and that was way too big for him. There was no trace of Jekyll's body, so they were confused. Then he goes back to his office to read Lanyon's letter. Thank you for listening.